Yay, and welcome back to the India Jean YouTube channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to make your very own bralette and how to make it in velvet, because velvet can be a tricky fabric. And this is me after the finished product. Yay, a bit of a head swing. All right, so let's get started. So in this pattern tutorial, we're just going to need 3 pieces to the pattern, which you can download at indiajean.com, and you can find all the other patterns there and other resources for making your own patterns as well. So here we are. I've got the 3 triangle back and front, and that's all you need. It goes up to size 20, I think. Yeah, so XXS to XXXL. All right, so first of all, we're going to start off by making our straps. So I'm just going to measure the straps off here at 17 inches, and then we just need 2 really. So I always make one at 17 inches and then just mimic or copy it from the other size. So I just snip and it's done. And then I just simply cut out 2 inches from the remaining strap. So I'll just measure this out at 2 inches, snip, and then I will make another one off the one that I've already made, so that way it's still the same size. In case I'm like a couple of millimeters off, I can then make them all the same. Beautiful. And then we'll need some sliders, so we'll just need 2 sliders. I've chosen a beautiful rose gold to go with the hot pink, and they will look really beautiful together. And I just need 2 rings. So the bra elastic I'm using is 12 millimeters, and the rings and the sliders that I'm using are 12 millimeters as well. So I'm just going to insert the rings, or the 2-inch strap I'm going to put through the rings there. There we are. And then the sliders go on the end here, and I usually leave about a 5 centimeter tail to sew, and but just getting the slider on first. I really do love this process of making bra straps. I find it very satisfying. See, there's my 5 centimeter tail, and I'll end up folding that over, and I will sew 2 lines there and there really close together to secure that in place. And with these 2 straps, I'm just going to sew 1 line to keep that in place. So just putting the slider onto the other strap. Yeah, like I said, making bra straps is so satisfying. So once you've got these on with the 5 centimeter tail, just sew 2 straight lines pretty close together, and I'll show you what that looks like. Here we are. Here's the finished product, and 2 lines, 1, 2, and then you can see it on the back, 1, 2, and then I've got 1 line on each of these 2-inch tabs. And then I'm just going to place the strap elastic through, and I'm going to turn it back on itself, and then I'll be able to thread it through the slider. So it's much like doing up a belt really. And then I will put it through the other part of the slider and pull it through, and see what I mean by satisfying. Isn't that gorgeous? The rose gold and the hot pink look so beautiful together. I love, love, love it. There we are. I love these straps too. There's plenty of give in them. And that would be my other suggestion, is just make sure that your strap elastic has got enough give for you to make it comfortable. So here I'm just placing the strap elastic through, coming back on itself, and then through the slider and through to the other side. So there you have it. You've made your very first set of bra straps, and they're so easy and, like I said, satisfying to make. So yes, enjoy that process. It is very exciting to do. Okay, so moving on to the back, I'm going to put the longest piece of the square fabric to the side. We're not going to use that just yet. Okay, so we're just going to focus on the small square or the small rectangle, and I'm placing the right sides together. So I'm using a beautiful velvet. It's a gorgeous like hot pink velvet, and then I'm using a beautiful hot pink lining to go with it. So I've got the right sides together, and then I'm just going to pin these into place. So I'm starting off at the middle here. Where I place this pin is where I'm not going to sew, just for the record. And then I'll place this pin in just to secure. This is such an important part of the process. This is actually the back of the bralette, so just make sure you really do pay attention to what I'm doing here. I'm just checking the velvet line at the moment. But of course you can use any fabric that you like, as long as it's a four-way stretch. You can make anything, and just remember this is a reversible top, so you can make different colors front and back. Okay, now I'm just switching that around, and we're going to pop the pins in on the other side. There we are. Now see where I've got the two yellow pins and they're like going across ways. We want to not sew there. That's where my straps are going to go. So right now I'm just doing a basting here, just like a tacky sew. Because it's velvet, it does tend to slide underneath the sewing machine. So I tack it in there just so nothing moves and everything is perfect. I do it up at the top and the bottom. So here I am going to just show you here that at the top here where the two pins are and the bottom, I'm not going to sew here, and I'm not going to sew on those 2 points up the top, but I'm going to sew along the edges. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like. I'm just going to use a zigzag stitch, and I've placed my elastic on top, so I must have skipped something, so apologies. So I've got an elastic on top, and I've got two little holes inside the elastic, and now I'm grabbing my 20 mil elastic, so it's 20 mils and it's a woven elastic, and as you can see I've left probably about 5 centimeters on each end, and then I'm going to snip that, and this is going to be on the bottom. So this will be like how we keep ourselves supported, and the way that I do this, make sure that the elastic doesn't turn around on itself while you're wearing it, which really annoys me. Now these two pins that I'm placing in here is to let me know that I can't sew where those two, in between those two pins, but I can sew on either side. So this is what it looks like. I've done 2 rows of zigzag, and I've left a hole, and I've done that up the top for where the actual bra straps are going to go. So just turning it inside out. I love this part. It really is such an assembly process where it's, you know, like it's put together inside out, and then you only really see it until you turn it the right way. Okay, so this bit can be a little bit fidgety, and but well worth it. So I'm just pulling it through so that it's the right way. There we are, almost there. I was going to fast forward this bit, but I just thought, well, you get to see what I go through as well, so you know that you'll possibly go through that tricky bit too as well. Okay, so there's where my holes are for my bra straps. You can see just peeking in there. One and 2, and then there's another hole at the back on the bottom. Done. So we can just place that to the side because we won't need that just yet. And then we can just pop that to the side. We will need it, but we'll just focus on the bra cups now. So you would have noticed in the pattern that there is a dart, so I just pin them with my pins. And when I sew them, I'm just going to sew 1/4 inch seam allowance, and that really does give the breast a really beautiful shape. It doesn't squish it. It really molds and contours to your natural form. There we are, and they're done. This actually bralette is really easy to make. It's very fast, and there's a few tricky spots, but I'll just walk you through them. So now I've got my 2 bras, and as you can see, I've got a pin in them, which shows me that's the front, or the center seam of the front, so that I know which is my front and which is my side. It's just something that I do. You don't have to do it if you know the pattern of it, but I do it just so that I don't make a mistake, because sometimes my mind is going a million miles. But what I'm doing here is I'm placing right sides together of the main fabric and the lining facing together, and I'm just going to sew, or actually pin. So I'm pinning here so that everything is in place, because then I'm going to sew tack. Because this is a velvet and a lining, they slip around together. So it's really important that you don't skip this part. It may feel like time consuming in the beginning, but it's actually going to save you a lot of time in the end, because when the velvet moves around, it gets a little bit tricky underneath the sewing machine. So I just sew tack it, and then I remove it once I've got my proper stitches in. And here we go. Just doing the sides, I'm not doing the top of the triangle, because I'll need that to put the bra strap in. Okay, so there we are. I'm just going to do an overlock, or you could do a zigzag stitch, 1/4 inch seam allowance. And there we go. So pretty. Okay, so we're almost there. I'm just turning it over, so now that the right side, or the back of the right side is facing me, so the velvet side is facing me, I'm going to then put elastic on where I've actually sewn my overlocker, or if you've done a zigzag stitch. Here I'm just taking out my tack, and that just really easily comes out. There we are, it's all out. So it's ready to apply the elastic now. So my elastic that I'm using is 6mm, and I'm going to put it down through the sides, and it's a woven elastic. Here it is, nice and stretchy. I like it because it's good for the cup area where it's not too firm, but it just allows, a little bit of a soft hold. And I find that, like, when I'm pole dancing and I go upside down, this is a really beautiful, comfortable bralette. Everything stays in. But if you were to turn it into swimwear or a sports crop, it would be so comfortable. You'd probably get a lot of compliments as well, I'm sure. Okay, so we're going to put that elastic in. There we are. And so I've left about 5cm on each end of the elastic. I've done zigzag stitch. So the cup's almost done. So now we're going to put the bra elastic in, the bra straps that we've already made. So I want the right side facing towards the right side of the fabric. And I'll just slide that through, and I don't want to pull it all the way through, just a little bit of the way through. There we are. will do the other one as well. So grabbing your bra strap and right side facing the right side, slide it up, bring it up towards the hole. Perfect. And you're ready to sew about 1/4 inch along through there. I've done an overlocker and a zigzag stitch here, and if you just have an overlock you could probably do it twice, because that would be the main point where there's a bit more stretch or stress within the bra over the shoulder. So I would be inclined to actually put more of a double stitch there. All right, so bringing it around, so pretty already. So I've turned it inside out, the straps are hanging out, and I'm just kind of evening out the elastic inside there. And I'm just going to overlap these 2 corners, and up to you. I wouldn't go any more than 5 centimeters. So anywhere between the length of the overlap would be fine. And then secure that with a pin. There. Amazing. And you can see it's starting to take shape now. So now we just need that long piece of the front fabric to bring it all together. And so again, I'm placing the velvet side on top of the bra, so the right sides together. Perfect. You just want to make sure that you got your center seam lined up. So I usually just fold it in half, place it onto the pin where the pin is, and that usually actually does it to find the center seam of the front fabric to match it up to the cups, and then pin that into place. A bit tricky going through elastic, but I use nice long pins and they're super sharp, so it always does the job. And then grabbing the lining, and you want the right side facing. So you want to place your whole bra that you've just kind of like pulled in together, place it on top of the lining. And then those 2 right sides should be facing together with the bra cup sandwiched in between. There we are. I turn it around just because it's easier for me to pin, and I will pin all that into place. And also, because it's 4 layers of fabric, and 1, 2, yeah, 4 layers of fabric, I had to count there for a second. You just grab your pins and pin through all the way along. There we are, speeding up the process there. Perfect. And then we're going to sew tack. So like what we did before on the bra cups, we're going to do it here along through. Because there's so many layers of fabric, this part's really important. Don't skip it. It's really important to do a sew tack through this part. You want to get through all 4 layers of the fabric, make sure that it's all completely lined up, because this area, if it's not done properly, can actually propose some holes in the stitching later on, because the velvet does tend to move around a little bit. So to avoid having those holes come through and having to redo your work or unpick for copious amounts of time, do this part. It's so important. So I'm just going to speed this up a little bit because you get the idea. I've stressed it enough. And ta-da, there we go. I have done my sew tack and it is all perfect. And I'm just going to run my serger. You can do a zigzag stitch a couple of times along through this area. And I'm just measuring it up just to make sure that everything is in line with each other, and it is. And I'm ready to sew that along there, and that's it. So I'll show you what it looks like through the inside, and there we go. I have done my overlocker and I've done a zigzag stitch, and yes, that's nice and firm. So make sure that you check everything, make sure that everything is in place, that there are no holes, no gaps, that everything is seamless. So pretty. So you can even wear it as a pink bra as well. So lovely. The options are endless. Okay, so now here I'm just folding the bra up or rolling it up, and then I'm going to sandwich it in between the lining and the main fabric, and they're facing each other. So I think this is called the burrito method. I'm not quite sure. You might have to correct me on that if I'm wrong. And I'm just going to pin lengthways the bulky part of the material in. So I don't want it to move around. I want to squish that bulky material in there and place the pin lengthways, so that the lengthways placing of the pin keeps the fabric all bunched up and away from the edge, because this again is another part that's very, very important part of the process. So I'm not going to speed this up, just so that you can have a good look to see how this goes, because if you are a beginner, this is where you want to pay a lot of attention, because otherwise you'll end up sewing over your bra cup, and that you don't want to do that. So just make sure that all the material is all like rolled up neatly and bunched towards the center seam, and then place those pins in lengthways, and you follow this process and you will have a gorgeous bralette. I actually look forward to seeing what you make. I'd love to see. You can follow me on Instagram at India Jean Designs if you like, and tag me as well. Love, love, love to see. And there we go. So almost finished. Really important. Okay, so done that part. And then getting another set of pins, and we're just going to pin the edge together. So making sure that the edge is pinned. So you'll see that there's going to be two lots of pins. And this is just so that your work is neat, in line, and not all over the place. So this really is the difference between the two type of work that can be produced. I'm going to speed this process up because I know you understand. There we are. Okay, so then the next process now is to get your cotton thread and do a pin tack here. So we're going to do a pin tack on the edge of the last pins that we just pinned. So I'll show you a few and then I'll speed it up, because I know you completely understand what I'm up to right now. So the pin, getting the pin ready. And starting from the edge, I'm doing a little pin tack. That's it, so close to the edge. And again, I'm doing this because velvet is a bit tricky. You might find that your material isn't as tricky as velvet, but this is the best way to do it, that I know of anyway. If you know of another way, please do tell me. I'd love to know. Okay, so there we go. I've sewn that, taken the pins out, I've taken the sewing tack out, and now we're going to put in a 20mm woven elastic in. So I'm just going to leave about 1/2 inch on either side. There we are. And I'm going to do zigzag stitch. I didn't pull it too tight. You can pull it, I would suggest do a little bit of a pull, but not too much. You want it to be firm but not too tight. And then taking these pins out, And can you believe it? We're almost finished. Just a few more steps to go and da-da. So excited. Okay, so this part is a little bit tricky. It's not hard though, it's just tricky. So you want to fold back the material and turn it in the right way, because at the moment it's inside out, and you want to slide your cups through. There we are. Perfect. And I told you it was a little bit fidgety, but that's okay. This is actually one of the most satisfying parts here, because this is where you see it all come together and take shape. Just pulling out the last bit. Ta-da! This is so cute. Love, 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 love. Okay, so the straps are beautiful. The velvet is gorgeous, and the cups are looking nice. They've got some nice shape in there. There are no holes. The seams look good. The darts look great. So on my shop, I actually sell this in 3 colors. I've got turquoise, I've got a ruby red, and this gorgeous pink. And of course, if you want to make your own, you just download the pattern. All right, so I'm just placing the back on top. I've got the right sides together. Beautiful. And just overlapping those two. I'm going to place a pin just to secure it. There we are. And then through the hole that's at the bottom, most important part, you want the hole at the bottom. Place the thumb in, and I use my fingers to pull the fabric towards me. Hold on to it, finger and thumb. And then I want to turn that fabric inside on itself. And again, this is a little bit tricky, but not hard. Once you've done it once, you can do it more, and you just need some practice if this is your first time doing it. But I just gently pull it through. There we are. And then getting the back. I love this method because it just means, like I said, like the elastic doesn't move around underneath or inside the garment, and it just really keeps everything sitting beautifully on you. Even when you go to wash it, the elastic won't twist or anything like that. So yeah. Okay, so how do you know if you've pulled it through the right way? The velvet will be facing the velvet, and the lining will be facing the lining. That's how you know that it's come through the right way. And just evening out the ends and the elastic, so that when you go to sew, everything is in line and it's not twisted. So spend a little bit of time here with the details of finishing off, because that's when it all comes together beautifully. And the more care and love you put into this part of the process, the more gorgeous it will be on you. You'll get more wear out of it, and it will just be made to perfection for your body. So like I said, I just spent a bit of time evening that out, placing the pins in, and then we just sew. 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I put an overlocker and a zigzag stitch just for extra security, and then pulling that through. So you can actually make the matching pants to this as well, which I will link at the end of this video. The rose shorts, they're high-waisted. Oh, look at that. So pretty. Okay, and then we just bring this over again. So the right sides are together, and bringing the end of this tail on the bra. I'm just going to bring that over and fold that over like so. like what I did before. So it's exactly the same process as what we did on the other side. We're just doing it on this side. So a pin, I go through with my thumb, use my fingers to drag through the fabric, hold finger and thumb, take the pin out, and then we're going to turn it back inside. So it will be like turning it inside out. Yay. There we go. There we go. Pulled the tail through. And again, I've got the velvet facing the velvet and the pink lining facing the pink lining. And all I need to do now is just even it out. Beautiful. I hope my videos help you. If you need any help along the way, please feel free to message me, email me, yeah, grab me on Instagram. If anything's not making any sense, or if you'd like some more tutorials on certain things, I specialize in stretch fabric. It's my jam. I love it. It's my playing field. I understand its personality and it works for me. All right, so I'm just pinning them. I've done my sew with the serger and a zigzag stitch over the top just to secure it. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of active work in this crop. Perfect. Yay. So you can make this in any material. Look how gorgeous this is. I did velvet because I love the feel of velvet and I like wearing it when I dance. And here we go. We're just going to put these straps over the top now, making sure that they're the right way. And I'm just going to slide them through. Oh, I've decided to do it inside out. Okay. And so yeah, we're just going to grab the end of the bra straps, making sure that they're the right way, and then I just slide them through the hole. And yeah, so once you get these through the hole, because this can be a little bit tricky because you're pushing it through 2 layers of fabric and elastic here, and then you're going to sew through those layers. So make sure you've got a really good strong stitch. I'm going to be using a stretch stitch in a straight line, not a zigzag. Oh my goodness, say that fast. No, I won't. So just pinning those in first, making sure that they're nice and secure. And I like to have, I mean, I didn't put any notches for you to where you want to put your bra straps, but I like mine relatively close towards the center. It just means that the straps aren't going to slide off my shoulders when I dance, and everything is going to be firm and nothing's going to fall out. So there we go. Pop those in and sew, and I just sewn 2 straight stitches, so it's a straight stretch stitch. I find that's nice and secure and it looks really, really pretty. Look at those straps. I love them. I can't wait to wear these, and I can't wait to see what you make and see you dancing in your designs, or even just sunbaking at the beach or going for a swim. But yeah, tag me. I'd love to see. Come on over to the website. The website is www.indiajean.com, and everything I make is by hand, and all the patterns I make in-house. So yeah, come and have a little visit, and I look forward to it. And don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Thank you.